All right, traders, this has been my overall best trading day of the week, and the green streak continues. I ended up buying call options at the exact low, utilizing the trading plan that I posted yesterday, which was to buy call options at my key level, which was $443, literally towards the exact lows on the day, which was $442.75. With that being said, I will be teaching you the trading strategy that I use to buy calls and alert real time to my team at the exact lows. I will also be teaching you the analysis that I gave out to my team today, which was to avoid put options. I said this very, very early at 10:30 a.m. to avoid put options. It's going to be an overall trend bullish day. And the way you take advantage of a trend bullish day is when SPY breaks above resistance. And once it pulls back to that previous resistance, it's going to react to support. Same strategy I used to buy calls at the low of day on 443. And I also told my team SPY was going to close at 445 hours before the close, and it ended up closing literally towards exactly that level. With that being said, I will show you how this was the most accurate trading day that I have of the week, and I will also continue to prepare you to trade the best setups at the best prices. There is no channel in existence who is as consistent as we are. As you can see right here, you can see alerts, man. I'm buying calls, I'm adding calls, the exact low day at 10:33 a.m. The moderator Keaton's with me. He made over $10,000 on that, man. And this was all strategically planned. As you can see, if you go back to my trading plan, my plan was the best level for calls was $443. We identified that the previous resistance should react to support for the first time it tested, and that ended up working out multiple times, which I told you if you watched my video last night. Now the question is, if you haven't made back multiple cost of what I charge to join Trader Society, I truly don't understand what it is that you're doing. Every single day this week has been green. The polls are speaking for themselves. Look at all the green and look at the red. We are having over 95% of members going green literally the entire week. And I will show you how we are able to do this because, like I said, not only do I create my plans a day in advance, which were 100% spot on with the key levels that I create, but I trade them. And this was all alerted in real time. I bought calls at 10:27 a.m. And then I scaled in and I added heavily at 10:32 a.m., 10:33 a.m. I kept on buying as it was having a small little drop, which was the exact lows. Then I sold those calls in the money and I made a very, very quick $2,000 profit doing that. Then in terms of the updates that I told my team, you could see right here, if you type in a void puts in terms of the Discord server, this is all documented, right? So if I type in a void puts right here, you're going to see, and I'm going to teach you this strategy, man, because I'm telling you, this video right now is going to change your perspective on trading, and it's going to open your third eyes. I just have to walk you through it step by step. But right here at 10:22 a.m., I told my team the daily pattern on SPY is bullish. I will be avoiding puts for the entire day. And then for those who wanted to continue to trade, I already nailed calls at the exact low of day. I have perspective that was the best set of this price. I don't feel the need to keep on trading. I can go out and enjoy my day, but I will also provide real-time analysis, which is exactly what I did. And you could see right here, this was the analysis that I ended up saying. I made my $2,000 profit buying my calls at my key level. I'm done for now. Today is supposed to be a bullish day. Here is how you profit from a bullish day, which is the same strategy I used to profit buying calls at the low of day. You wait for SPY to break above a resistance level. When it drops back down to that previous breakout level, to that previous resistance, it is supposed to react as a support level, and that is where you're supposed to buy. Now, if you were to use that strategy yesterday at 444, like we did, you would have banked. Remember how I told you 444 was previous resistance and the video that I posted 2 days ago and it reacted as support, literally the lows yesterday? Guess what? I used the same strategy on calls today to buy at the exact lows. If you watch my video, these are the exact trend lines that I posted in the video right here. Look at the previous resistance. All of the previous resistance is at the high of these candles. 443.20. There's a lot of resistance at 443.20. When the SPY broke above that resistance level, it kept on breaking out. It kept on going up. It had a massive multi-day run to 453.70. So the most likely outcome is, since this is when the most craziest bear trap was triggered, when the bears absolutely got crushed, when this drops back down initially for the first time, it is supposed to react as a support level, which is why I said 443 was a key level to buy calls. And I stuck to that plan. And when I bought those calls, they dropped initially. And instead of getting scared out from one of the lead traders, Jim C., who was in put options at the time. He was in puts, he was making money on puts, and he was greedy. He was aiming for 442.20, thinking it was going to drop a little bit lower. Instead of getting scared out as the position was going against me, I kept on adding into my calls because I have perspective, and that's what I'm going to give to you, my perspective. My perspective was it is supposed to bounce at this previous resistance level. It is supposed to react to support the first time it initially tests. People are not prepared for that because they're not going back to August 28th and identifying that this level was never retested and it should react to support because the SPY triggered such a major, such a major bear trap where the bears got absolutely crushed if they held through this breakout, right? So you got to think, if SPY breaks out, 443 resistance and it goes all the way to 454 in a couple days, if it drops right back down just as fast as it went up, they're going to turn that previous resistance into a floor, into a support level the first time it tests and reacts. And there was a proof of concept to my idea because the chart kept on bottoming and bouncing at my key level. So the proof of concept and confirmation was it kept on bottoming and spiking very, very nicely at $443, which means that's going to give me more confidence to buy calls. Now, what were some other proof of concepts? Another proof of concept was this, and I did not speak on this in yesterday's video. So you're probably wondering, what was the daily pattern? Because you could see right here, I said at 10:22 a.m., right before I was buying the calls, the daily pattern on SPY is going to be bullish. I will be avoiding puts for the entire day. Why would I say that, right? So I didn't say that in yesterday's video, but this is why I said it. I said it because I identified there was a daily pattern. And the daily chart, not all the time, but it will help give you a thesis and a bias on what is going to happen for the next day. And you're supposed to use confirmations, and I'll show you how to use those confirmations to confirm that that pattern, that history is going to repeat itself, right? So I trade price action, I trade patterns. This is what I want you to look at. Now, I think we can all agree this pattern that I'm about to share with you is literally identical in a sense. So you have this red bearish candlestick going down. So you have a red bearish candlestick that's going down. And then you have a red bearish pin that's pointing up. So just visually look at this pattern, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to compare these 2 days on the daily candle to the SPY, and you're going to visually see that it's the same exact pattern. So take a look. See how the SPY is pointing down? Look at the ovals. See how the SPY is pointing down with a red bearish candlestick? Very, very similar to the one I showed you. What happened the next day? The next day, you had a red bearish candlestick pointing up, right? So the same pattern. What happened on day 3? And the reason why day 3 matters is day 3 was today, with history repeating this pattern if it repeats itself, right? The third day, it had a super green bullish day. And then you will see the same exact pattern repeated here. You have a bearish candlestick pointing down, and then you have a bearish candlestick pointing up with the pin. What happened the next day? The next day, it had a bullish day. So guess what? If I see that daily pattern, what confirmation, what proof of concept would I use to confirm that that pattern is going to actually work and repeat itself, that it's actually going to have a bullish day? This is what I did. I studied the chart and I identified that the SPY was supposed to bounce at $443 because this was a previous resistance level right here that was never retested. It had a massive breakout and it dropped right back down just as fast as it went up, meaning it's supposed to react as a floor because that previous resistance is, had such a strong breakout. So just look at it, man. If puts are banking right here at 443, and then all of a sudden this breaks out and goes to 454, do you want to buy puts at 443? No, you don't want to buy puts at 443. You want to buy puts at 454 because that's the top. That's the best entry, 454. Why would you want to buy puts at 443 when this just broke above 443, went to 454, sold right back off? They're going to turn that previous resistance into a floor. And on a bullish trend day, you keep on looking at the 1 minute chart and you look for the big breakouts. And then when it drops back down to that previous breakout level, to the previous resistance, that's where you buy the dip on a bullish trend day. And I'm going to walk you through the trading plans that I prepared for members because that consistently made them money as well. So my proof of concept was it is supposed to bounce at previous resistance, and that's what it was doing. It was bouncing at previous resistance. It was reacting as support. Now, what are more proof of concept that I can add to that? There's a gap to fill above. SPY is oversold. There's a gap to fill above at 446. It is going to start to fill the gap. Now, what is the icing on the cake? everything I teach on this channel. The 30-minute chart. Look at the 30-minute chart. What do I tell you guys? When SPY is at one of our key levels to buy the dip, if you see a bullish trend reversal, green candlestick like this with a top wick, what do I tell you? I tell you it is supposed to spike back up to the high of the wick, which is exactly what happened. So I'm already valuing the SPY just based off the intraday chart. I was valuing SPY at $444.40 because with my strategy, it was bottoming at 443, which is bullish confirmation proof of concept, and it was bottoming at that previous resistance reacting as support, and it is supposed to go back to the high of this green 30-minute wick, which was at 444.40. Now, if I were valuing the SPY based on that daily chart pattern for a super bullish day, I would be valuing it a much higher. I would value it towards the gap at 446, but I'm a scalper. I get in and I get out. So me knowing all of this is the reason why when I bought calls, not at the exact low, you can see right here in terms of my real-time alerts, I was buying calls at 10:27 a.m. So if we go to 10:27 a.m., you will see I was very, very close to the low. My level was $443. I was buying slightly above my level. So if we go to 10:30, if we go to 10:20, let me see real quick. Let's see, 10:27 a.m. If we go to 10:27 a.m., I was buying calls right here when SPY was at 443.20. Why was I buying a little bit above my entry? Because that resistance that I showed you was at 443.20. I don't mind taking a starter position. I don't mind getting a little bit early. I have perspective on the play. And the play was it was valued at 444.40. And if you were to use the daily chart, it was valued a lot higher, right? So if this is going to drop against me and I'm not even in at my key level, I will add. And if it goes under 443, I will add more into this bearish red. Why? Because I have a perspective on price action and where price is heading and what a gift truly is. So in a sense, there is a little fear of missing out, getting a slightly higher entry, but I'm okay with that because I can scale in and I can add, and I have perspective that in terms of the real play, it's this, man. Once those 443 calls go out of the money, when SPY goes under 443, the calls go out of the money. Based off of everything that I know, they are supposed to pump and spike back in the money. So as long as I have a decent average in that sense, and then have a good average where I'm buying out of the money, adding heavily, and then selling into the money, I will make a very, very nice profit, and that is exactly what I did. So you need to have perspective on when it's actually good that a position is going against you. Because based off of everything I knew, I was happy that I wasn't in at the exact low. Because I had perspective that it can go lower, and the lower it goes, the more money that I'm gonna make adding into that position. And if you have a small account, you need that perspective. And then what you could do is you can take one contract at the initial entry, and then you could add one more contract when it drops about 30 to 50 cents lower to average it out nicely, right? Or you can just say, forget the FOMO. If it hits a very, very nice level, I'll just get in towards the nicer level. And that's what you can do. But like I said, I don't mind getting in a little bit early because I was valuing the SPY at 444. So that was the play. That was the ultimate trend alert on the day. And then from there, I told people, buy calls when it breaks above resistance once it drops back down. So right here, this is the resistance, 443.80. It broke above the resistance. So what do? When it goes back to 443.80, you buy the calls. As you could see, the theory worked. It dropped to 443.90, the exact bottom at this previous resistance level. I told my team how to play it. You identify the resistance. When it breaks above on a bullish trend day, when it drops back down, you buy. Same strategy I used to buy calls at the low down 443. That worked. And if you were to do that the entire day, you would have been making very, very nice profit consistently. So that was our overall day. That was the overall recap. The analysis that I put out was spot on. And I will continue to do it every single day because we have the SPY mastered to a T. Another reason why I was so confident and bullish in today was not based off of just everything that I told you, but I've lived through this day. Let me know in the comments if you've had this experience because I trade SPY every single day. And what I'm telling you is I've lived through this day and through this experience. And what I'm meaning by that was I had intuition, I had very strong confidence, and I had very strong trend and pattern recognition and very strong influence that the same thing that I saw a long time ago was happening. everything that I was seeing with the 30-minute chart, with the 1-minute chart, with the key levels, with the price action, with the patterns, I felt like I've already traded this before and I knew exactly what was going to happen because history tends to repeat itself. So if you trade the same thing every single day and you have muscle memory, you're going to start to feel and see that the same thing is occurring. You might not be able to analyze in terms of like what day you're referring to, but visually you will see and feel in the moment that you know exactly what is going to happen. And that is another reason on why my analysis was so successful today, because of muscle memory and experience of trading SPY. Like I said, in terms of this trading day that occurred today, I genuinely felt like, and this had a lot to do with my analysis and of course everything that led up to it, but I genuinely felt like I've traded this day before. That's how I truly felt. Every single pattern that was playing out, the price action that was playing out, I felt like this exact day that happened already happened in the past experience. So I was able to capitalize off of that history of my experience trading it. And that is how you get better as a trader. You trade every single day. You trade the same ticker every single day. You're going to start to pick up on patterns. You're going to start to pick up on price action. You're going to start to remember things. You're going to start to notice things. You're going to start to see, oh, at this specific time, it has reversal. On this specific candle, it has a spike. You're going to start to notice these things. If you dedicate and put all your time into energy in one thing, your results will only get better as time goes on. But if you're going to put all your time and energy into 10 different fucking things, you're going to get nowhere during those 10 things. You have to go all in on this and sacrifice everything to get to the highest level that you can get to. And I'm telling you, it is worth it in the end. So now that I went over the recap and explained to you the education, let's go over the trading plan. In terms of the trading plan, this is what I want you to understand. And one thing that I want you to do in terms of self-sufficiency is I want you to start using the daily chart and just seeing if you could find some sort of pattern. I showed you how I found my pattern. I look at daily candlesticks, I go back throughout the past, I see if there's some sort of pattern. There will not always be a pattern. And if there's not a pattern, then there's not a pattern. It's always better if there is a pattern because that gives you more confirmations in a sense and a bias on something to look for the next day. But we're not going to blindly trade a bias and blindly trade a pattern. We're going to look for confirmations and proof of concepts that that pattern is going to repeat itself. And I showed you how I did that. But just always make sure that you're looking at the daily chart and that you're just seeing some sort of pattern, right? So in terms of the daily chart, SPY is going to try to go bullish in my opinion. The reason why I'm saying that is if you just visually look at it, you have this green candlestick right here, you have this green candlestick right here, it looks the same, and then it bounces the next day. Green candlestick right here pointing down, and then it bounces next day. Green candlestick right here, it bounces next day, right? So in a sense, looking at the daily chart, it is going to try to go bullish. Based off of how the daily chart looks, the SPY is going to try to continue to go bullish heading into tomorrow, right? So I will look for proof of concepts to be bullish tomorrow, but I will not blindly trade that, right? So in terms of our key levels, what are going to be our key levels? So in terms of the key levels for the SPY, our newly updated key levels is we always go with levels that were not tested. So if the SPY drops, if the SPY goes super bearish, the key levels that I will be paying attention to heading into tomorrow are going to be 442.75 towards the low of day on the day. This level right here, you have a lot of very strong support, 440.80. That's a key support level I want to buy. And then you have a gap to fill at 439.90. If the SPY is going bearish, those will be the best oversold levels where I will be interested in buying calls. Now, this is what I need you to understand because this is crucial. This level right here is everything. It's kind of a zone. It's actually a zone. It's two levels. So we're going to be going with the zone. And I need you to understand, this is a middle zone. It's the same type of zone that we went over yesterday. So what you need to understand is right here, 445.20. You can see right here, this reacted as a resistance. It triggered a massive crash. So if the SPY turns 444.85 to 445.20 into a resistance level, it is going to drop back towards the low on the day. That's what it's going to do. It's going to try to go a little bit bearish. And if SPY is going bearish and it's topping out that level, the best thing I can do in terms of buying calls is to go at levels that have not really been tested yet, which is 441 and 440. And if they don't hit, then so be it. I will look for confirmations at 442.70, but I don't value that as the best level because it already played out. But I will also take into consideration that the daily chart is supposed to be bullish for tomorrow, but I will not blindly trade that, right? So understand, the make or break zone is 440.85 to 445.20. This is make or break. Now, here's some things we need to keep in mind. There's another make or break zone, which is at 446.22. We have a gap that's waiting to fill above at 446.22. This is going to be heavy resistance. So for the SPY to truly flip super bullish and have a crazy bullish day, the floor needs to be towards that 444.80, and then they need to break it above 446.20, turn it into support. If they can break above this white line, turn it into support, it's going to go super bullish, and then it's going to start to go to 448, which would be our levels for puts. Our best levels for puts, if we're going with the overbought levels, which is what we like doing, we don't like buying puts at 443 like Jim was doing today, leading people into a pit of fire. I don't like doing that. I don't care how bearish you are. I don't like milking things, and I'm not greedy like that. I will always go with calls at oversold levels and puts at overbought levels. And if they don't hit, I will wait till they hit because I'm disciplined and I trade the best setups at the best prices with the best risk to reward ratios. I don't like leading people into a pit of fire. So with that being said, in terms of our levels for puts, 448 and 449 and 451. The reason why is, we went over this in our last video, 448, if you looked at the 1 minute chart, there was key support on the SPY that was never retested. If you go back to yesterday, this is what we talked about. This right here is support on the SPY, 447.90. Once it cracked this support level, it never spiked back up. So initially, those 448 puts should react as a resistance level for a nice scalp on puts towards a higher level. And then our next level for puts is 449.20. The reason why is that's a gap close reversal level, but I wouldn't consider that the best level. The true best level would be 451.20. So here's the deal. We have a proof of concept that works. We have a strategy that works, and it consistently is showing in these videos alone. But if you are within the chat, you will see it speaks volumes and it comes to life and there's new analysis and there's new opportunities. So we got something that works and the polls are speaking for themselves. So this isn't luck. This isn't by accident. It works. So what is left? When you have something that works, what is left to do? You must be disciplined. You must be disciplined enough to trade the best setups at the best prices, to create a plan, and then to trade at those key levels, and then to use confirmations, and then to stack everything you can possibly stack in your favor, like I did, to have confidence in buying calls at 443.20, slightly above my key entry, and adding calls at the exact lows at 442.80, right? I'm able to have that confidence because I stacked everything in my favor beforehand, where I told myself the worst possible decision I can make is to buy puts here. I would rather buy calls into a losing position than buy puts here because I know exactly what is going to happen. And then, of course, I have an honor and a level of how much I'm willing to risk, but it never worked. My risk was never hit. My mental stop loss was never triggered. I barely down. I sized in a little bit light as first as well because I understood, what can happen, right? But you just have to have that perspective and that confidence, and you have to stack everything in your favor and just understand that puts made no sense at 443. It made literally zero sense to be buying puts at 443, meaning if SPY is continuing to go lower, I'm just going to keep on scaling into calls. I don't mind it because I know it's going to spike back in the money in that sense. So you must be disciplined. You must be very strategic. You must find every reason and continue to watch the market and the price action. As the market is flowing, you're going to see new things. That daily pattern that I brought awareness to my team, I didn't visually see that until later on, until towards market open. And then I saw more patterns. I saw SPY's gapping down and it's at our 443 level. What happens when SPY gaps down and it hits our key level to buy calls? It starts to explode up and fill the gap. What gave me more confidence? I saw the 30-minute green candlestick that I teach every single week that's making me thousands of dollars a week. So my question to you is, have you made back multiple times the cost of Trader Society? Just this week alone, utilizing the information, if you were implementing it properly and you were trading the plans properly, you should have made back multiple times the cost of Trader Society, man, because we are absolutely crushing it. We have trading and mastered price action down to a T. We have truly cracked the matrix. And it is not just me, it is the moderators within the team. And we are very strong-minded, and that's what comes with the game. I could have got scared out. One of the best moderators, Jim C, is a phenomenal trader, but I called him out. If he's going to be buying puts at my level for calls, I'm going to call him out and I'm going to add into my calls because I see something that he's not seeing. Agree to disagree. I'm strong-minded like that. The worst thing you can do is blindly follow anyone. If I would have blindly followed a great trader like Jim C today, I would have got absolutely destroyed in those puts at 443. I would have got fucking wrecked. But I trade what I see, not what others see. I don't give a fuck what someone else is saying within the chat. My attention is on the charts. I don't care if someone's bashing me. I don't care if someone's going against me. My attention is in the charts. However, there are things within my chat that I found to be profitable. For certain people, when they exit puts, there's some great traders who will exit their puts on a bullish day, and I'll identify that it's a bullish day. They'll exit their puts. As soon as they sell their puts, whether it's a win or loss, SPY will keep on spiking. And then I will notice that pattern and that trend as a person, and I can make a whole strategy based off that person. Another thing I can tell you is there's you start to pick up on things. Your attention, understand, wherever your attention is, you're going to pick up on patterns. And you make money by identifying opportunity, by identifying patterns, by capturing trends. And that could be identified through people, and that could be identified through charts. Me personally, I do it through charts, but there has been specific people, whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, that I've seen where I can make money on whatever it is that they're doing. Like G-Roar. G-Roar is one of the best traders within the chat. He is someone I would look to follow, but I'm not going to blindly follow him. I would only blindly follow him if it was an emotional decision where I'm just going to ride or die with my boys, right? He was buying calls at high levels and he was making very, very good money doing that today, but I wasn't interested in buying calls at higher levels. His best trade was following the plan that I give out, which was to buy calls at 444, and he made an 80% return doing that very, very quickly. Then he was buying calls at key resistance, which is another strategy he has. He likes buying the breakouts. I didn't do that because that's not part of my plan. I'm not going to blindly follow someone unless it's just an emotional decision, which is something that I don't see to be profitable. But with that being said, another example in terms of a contrarian indicator, we have this stock on our radar. This is Disney. Will, why do you give a shit about Disney? The reason why I care about Disney is one thing we like to do is, like I said, we look at key levels that have not been tested. So if you look at this is a very rare situation. There is a lot of support in a very strong bottom bullish wick daily candlestick on Disney at $79.07 a share. So if this hits this level for the first time, the most likely outcome is those 79 calls, if they go out of the money or if Disney's at $79, it's probably going to spike. Because when it tests those 5-year lows for the first time, even if the bearish news or whatever the fuck's happening, right, with losing subscribers and all this stuff, it's probably going to bounce. And more information I can give you about Disney was, this was a stock that Jim Cramer recently loved and was buying at a higher price. It has dropped 20% since, and now he's against it and bashing it. And if you've been following that contrarian sense, when Jim Cramer buys a stock and it goes lower and he starts talking bad about it, it tends to spike, right? So that just stacks something in terms of this key level that I'm paying attention to, 79. So put your attention where money is flowing, where trends are happening, where patterns are occurring. That's a real trend with that whole Cramer thing. It's a real fucking trend. People make a joke out of it, but it's real if you know how to trade, if you know how to reprice action, if you know how to identify a key level where it could spike when he's bashing the stock. So with that being said, that's another way how I make money, man. You gotta put your attention in the right areas. And the best place to put your attention is in the charts. And if you are surrounded by a network of people who have mastered the charts, that is going to help open your third eye. That's going to help open your mind. It's going to help you see things that you've never seen before. Ask yourself, how many things have you learned? Ask yourself this, how many things have I covered in this video that you saw? Did you see any of these things today? Because we saw all of this in real time. We do this. We trade our plans in real time. We saw this real time. This is a recap of what I did today. I did all this. I saw all this in real time. It's not after the fact, oh, let's find some things on the chart and tell them and look for patterns. No, we did all this beforehand. There's a reason why I was so confident in adding to my calls as the price was dropping. And there's going to be certain times where I don't add to my calls and I get stopped out because the trade is not set up to be like that. I know where free money is. I know on certain setups, if a position is going against me, the most logical thing I can do is either hold it or add into it and average into it. And then there's other trades where I make based off of certain things that I see, based off other confirmations, where the best decision I can make is to just cut the loss as quickly as possible because it doesn't make sense to hold that position. You have to have perspective of what you value the trade at, what you value the price at, the rarity of the setup. How good is the setup? Does it make sense? If I see a bullish pattern on the daily chart, where it's going to try to close strong at the highs. If I see a 30-minute candlestick where it's going to try to go back to 440, 440, if I'm seeing that it's already bottomed at 443 with our bullish confirmations, that will give me all the confidence in the world to hold my calls and add if it goes below my key level, because it's a gift, my friends. You must understand when it is a gift to add and when it is smart to cut your loss. Not every single trade is created equally. This is not narrowed down to an exact science. When you stack everything together, that is when it will become an exact science. So that's a trade idea that I have for you on Disney. We will be keeping an eye on it. Look for bullish confirmations at that level. And remember, if it reacts bearish first, wait for it to react bullish. If it reacts bearish at $79, set another price alert at $79. If it reacts bullish at $79, then you buy the calls. Use a confirmation. Trade what you see. React what you see. If something looks bearish at a great level to buy calls, don't go buying puts. Just wait for it to react bullish at that level. And if it doesn't react bullish at that level, wait for it to react bullish at a better level. Have perspective of the overall market, right? So in terms of SPY, I'm going to give you a quick price ladder of what we're going to be using for tomorrow. So we already went over it just really, really quickly. $400 and $451 gap close reversal puts, $449 gap close reversal puts, and $448 we're interested in puts. 446.22 is a gap that is make or break. If it reacts bullish, we go to 448 plus. If it reacts bearish, then we're going to drop down towards 443.90. It's going to try to bounce 443.90, not considered the best level. Then it's going to try to drop to 442.70 if it goes under that. Next level below that is 441. Next level under that is 440. That is the price ladder. If one of those levels reacts bullish, it spikes up to the next level. If one of those levels reacts bearish, it spikes down to the next level, right? So that's what you need to understand about the overall price ladder. And we look to trade the best setups of those prices, the lower ones and the higher ones. We try to avoid and stay away from the middle. And we like trading levels that were not tested yet within the ladder. So the levels that were not tested yet within the ladder are going to be 451, 449, 448, 446.22, but that's the middle. We don't really like the middle in that sense. We'll keep an eye on 442.70, but 441, 440. Those are the true levels. Trade the best setups to best prices. Trade your plan. Here's the deal, man. Fridays are known for being my best trading day of the week. We have a phenomenal strategic plan for tomorrow, and we will absolutely crush it. We also have a very strategic and competent team who's self-sufficient with the moderators who are going to help assist you. If you are ready to join Trader Society, the time is now. The time is now, man. It is the first link down below in the description. I strongly recommend you join Trader Society. We will teach you how to master price action. We will teach you how to open that third eye. We will teach you how to take trends, how to use your attention to capture trends, to capture patterns, to make money within the market. Because I'm telling you, I see my chat and the moderators pulling tens of thousands of dollars out of the market like that, like clockwork. And then it adds up to over 6 figures as a team on a nice green day. So if you want to be a part of this, man, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. Everything's explained in terms of what you get, which is all my real-time trade alerts, all of my real-time analysis. So keep in mind, these videos are my nightly analysis. In terms of my Discord, you get my pre-market analysis and you get my intraday analysis. From market open to market close, you get that analysis, which is the most crucial. If you want to trade how I trade, if you want to learn how to see what I see, how to trade what I see, that Discord server is going to be the best group for you. We also have a video lesson library that will teach you risk management, position sizing, psychology, all my unique trading strategies. And we have the community and the moderators who can help get you to the next level. So if you do want to join, it's the first link down below in the description, and it is lifetime access. There is no excuse, man. The amount of people that have made back multiple cost of what I charge to join this program for the lifetime before they even join is astonishing, because they're joining, man. We're getting so many members every single day joining this group because they're using the plans, they're taking advantage of the analysis. And then when they join the group, the results are crazy, man. Oh, look at these people. They're making back multiple times the cost of what I charge. So if you want to get involved with my private organization, it is the first link down below in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open. We will absolutely crush it and finish this week as strong as we possibly can.